Here's the finished product of what we've created in this capture keyboard input tutorial. We'll render out in ActionScript 3, and you'll see I'm using my keyboard A and D keys to move my little ship back and forth, and my space bar to shoot a laser beam out the nose. Pew, pew, pew. And I show you how to create all this. Pew. I'm using my keyboard to control it. Okay. Hello there. In this Flash CS3 and CS4 ActionScript 3 tutorial, I'll show you how to program keyboard functionality into your applications to have the user keyboard become part of the control interface. And this is especially handy for Flash video game controls, photo galleries, slideshows, and page flip applications, and having them use their keyboard to submit your Flash form. Like traditional HTML forms, if a user fills out all the fields, they instinctively sometimes go to the Enter key on their keyboard to submit the form, and it works for them in HTML forms. And in your Flash forms, you can program that in easily enough by listening and capturing the keyboard input of the user. And when they fill out the form, they put their name, email, and message, and they press Enter. It'll be the equivalent of them hitting your Submit button there. Okay, so what I'm going to show you in this demonstration is a simple video game programming basics, just to show a demo of the capturing keyboard input. And so in Flash CS3 Professional, I'm going to click Create New ActionScript 3 file. And the first thing we'll have to understand is how to capture the keyboard input of the user to make the keyboard part of the control interface. So we'll go into Flash Help. You go up to Help, hit Flash Help, and right there in the field type in keyboard event, and then press search. Make sure you're searching in ActionScript 3 and not ActionScript 2, and then you'll see the second result under Programming ActionScript 3. They have some examples for capturing the capturing the keyboard input. And I'm going to take the first little bit of code they have there, highlight it, press Control-C, and then close out the help file window by clicking outside of it. And then you'll highlight the frame, the first keyframe there, the only keyframe there, and press F9. And this is how you add your code to your application in the Actions panel. F9 opens your Actions panel when you have a keyframe highlighted. And then you press Control-V. We'll add that code, and now you can see, we'll spread this out a little, we have a trace going here, and the trace is going to show us what key the user is pressing on the keyboard. So Control Enter will export the file, or render the file rather, for tracing. So you press Control Enter, and here's the file. You'll see it's blank. But if I hit W on my keyboard, you can see we have output now. And the trace output says key pressed W, character code, equals 119. If I press the D key, it shows key pressed is D, and character code is 100. So you can see we're effectively capturing the keyboard input of the user. That's what we want. So that simple demonstration shows us how. Now we have a nice function set up. And I'm just going to move that bracket up top because I'm old school. And we can remove this trace now. Now that we know that we are capturing the input and we have a function all set up. If you go back into the help file, and you might want to read through all that and take all those examples and play with them. But if you remove event there and just type keyboard into the field and press search, you'll see down under ActionScript 3 Language and Components reference, the second result is keyboard class. And there is the list where you can find all of the codes for every key, all the F keys on their keyboard, the home insert, the left arrow key, the right arrow key, anything you can want to access on somebody's keyboard pretty much. And the popular controls for video games are A to move side left, D to move side right, and then space bar to fire. So that's what I'll be showing you how to do, is access just those three controls, and you can expand and do whatever you want after that, whatever. This is going to be real basic and buggy probably, but so if we're going to create a game, a simple video game, as an example here, just to show you guys how to program a video game, we'll make this thing look a little more like we want it. We'll change the background to black. We'll make the size 550 high and 550 wide. Press OK, and the frame rate will bring up to 24 just to give it a smoother animation. And let's see, now we need a ship. So we'll build a little spaceship, and then we'll have the spaceship move side to side using the A and D keys, and shoot. We'll have it fire with the spacebar. So here in Fireworks, you can create a little spaceship right here in Flash. I happen to create mine in Fireworks, and there it is, a little sinister red and black ship. And I'll press Control C, and you can be in Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever Adobe software that you want, and press Control C, and then when you get into Flash, press Control V, and it'll put it right there on stage. And so I created a new layer. Here, let me delete that layer and show you what I did. Above the layer where we have that code in the Actions panel, I have that layer highlighted, and I press Insert Layer, so I have a new layer above it. We'll call that the ship. If you double click there, you can rename that layer, and we'll drag it, highlight and drag it to the bottom so it's under the ActionScript layer. So we'll name that one ActionScript. Now on the ship layer, in our clipboard we have our spaceship from Fireworks, and press Control V, and it'll import it as a movie clip, and that's what we want. Let's give it an instance name down here in the properties inspector and call it the ship. So now we have an instance name on it, so we can refer to that object in the code now and control it. So let's bring it down to more down to the bottom where the ship would be resting, and we can start doing some code inside of this function now to have the ship do certain things. And I guess the first thing you would want to do in a video game is, with a ship, is have your ship come into view in a nice easing sort of fashion with an elastic ease, and it'll set in the spot where it's gonna be going back and forth and shooting from. So to do that, we'll import a couple of transitions. So you type import, you open up your Actions panel again, above that function, import fl.transitions, and right there it comes up, so you can just double click that and it puts it in. .tween and semicolon, and then the next one will be similar, so we'll highlight all that, press enter, paste it in, and then this one is going to be easing. Import the easing and all, so we'll type in the asterisk. Now to bring the ship in like I was talking about in an easing sort of way, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second, we'll type in var. We're going to make a tween right now, and create the movement for the ship upon entering the file. When somebody enters the Flash file, they'll see the ship tween into position, which is a cool effect, and you'll see why in a second when I get done with this. So you can see what I'm typing in, and type in new tween, open parentheses, and put the object here, the ship, the instance name of the object, and the position, which is the Y position that it's going to move, the axis that it's going to move along, and then elastic is going to be the tween type, and ease out, and we'll put a comma, and 550 is where we're going to start it from. 400 is where it's going to end on the y-axis. So it starts on the y-axis at 550. The animation will end at a y position of 400, and then you type in the duration, and that's controls speed and such, and then true, and then close your parenthesis and semicolon. Now with this, if I was to, let's see, I think if I press Control Enter, look at that, that's pretty funky fresh, huh? Let's see that again. Let's press F12. Render it in a browser. See? So when they come into your game, your ship will fly in, do a little bouncy bounce, and then set in place real nice. Okay, so that's step 1. And now, to the true nature of the tutorial, we'll get into making the ship move by using the keyboard. So, let's see, in our actions panel, I guess the first thing we'll need to do is set a laser blast movie clip. So let's just make a movie clip. Let's create use a rectangle for it. Rectangle primitive. And this is going to be like a laser beam, a laser shot. So make it have no fill, no stroke, and whatever color you want for your laser shot. That looks good to me. It looks about right. Okay, and don't worry about where it is because it's going to go into the library anyway. You convert to symbol, you right click it, you convert it to a symbol, and you can name it whatever you want in the library. We'll just name it laser shot. And it's a movie clip, that's good. Press OK. Now highlight it on stage and Control X. Get rid of it. Get it off a stage. Now it's in the library here. Now we should have a fireworks object, which is the ship, and now our laser shot. Now you go into the library, right click laser shot, movie clip, and go to properties. Now we're going to export for ActionScript, and we'll give it a name of just laser, and that'll be its instance name. We're going to use that in the code as well. Okay, so yep, that all looks good. Export for ActionScript, export in first frame. Okay. And it's going to say a definition for this class could not be found in the class pack, so one will be automatically generated in the SWF upon export, and that's what we want, so press OK. Okay, now we can set up a variable for that laser blast. That way we can use it when we press the space bar. We want the laser to shoot out the nose of the ship. So we'll set up another variable here. Type in var laser blaster, and that's the instance name we'll give it actually in the code, or that's how we'll refer to it in the code, but we're using the laser name here that's in the ActionScript that we exported for ActionScript, that symbol in the library. Remember, we named it laser, and then we'll open parentheses, close parentheses, and semicolon. Now we have our laser blaster movie clip is ready to be used, and we'll set some vars here for some positions. So let's just say var. I'm going to set up some variables. Ship speed is colon, and this is a number, and we'll make it 15. Now next var is going to be the left bounds, so the ship cannot go further than our left boundaries, or else it'll fly right off of the screen. The user keeps hitting the A button. If they hold down the A button, your ship would fly right off the screen if you didn't set up this left bounds. And this will be let's say something around 50. And this is, you know, depending upon your stage size and everything. You can change all these numbers and play with them, see what feels right, what looks right. This one we'll call right bounds, because this will be the right boundaries, so it can't fly off the right of the screen when they're pressing the holding the D key to make their ship move right. And 460, let's say 460, that's good. And now we'll have to set up the laser Y position and the laser X position for when it gets shot. Now what happens is when they're gonna press the space key to shoot the laser, we're gonna pull it, reference it from the library, put it on stage, and shoot it out the nose. That's basically the logic. That's what I'm gonna show you how to do. Okay, so we'll type in var laser Y pose. That's good for laser Y position, and this is also a number, and we'll give it a value of the ship's Y position. So wherever the ship is, no matter where it is, the laser will come out from the ship. And that's how you can make this variable dynamic. And then we'll set up the laser X position as well, because we'll have to reference both positions, both axes, to make it line up right when we shoot out the nose. Okay, so this will be the ship X dot X and semicolon, and that's it for the variables. Now we can finally get to the fun stuff. Okay, so that looks good. Now inside of the function, we're gonna have oops, let's open back that. Inside of the function that we used from the example in the Flash help file is where we can put all of the logic for the code and the movement on the ship when certain keys are pressed on the keyboard. So let's go ahead and do that. And remember I showed you in the Flash help file where this list is here? You reference that list for any of the keys that you want to program into your application. So now we're going to type inside of that function some if and else conditionals, because without these conditionals we wouldn't be able to pull this off. And the conditionals make it to where we can listen for if certain keys are pressed. So we'll say, actually we have to set up a variable before we can do that. So right above the function, let's set up one more variable. No, actually inside the function we'll set the variable. Var, we'll call it var key char code, key car code, like key character code. So let's type in key car code. So key character code is the variable name, and it's uint, which is an integer, and it will equal the event, which will be the key press event or the key down event, and the char code, you reference that, and that will tell you, this will put whichever key is pressed, it'll put that number code into this value here, or this variable here, and then we can access its value right here where we're going to set up our conditionals. So we type in if, put open close parenthesis, and set up the opening bracket, and then go 2 lines down and put the closing bracket. Now you have an if statement set up, and inside of the condition for it, we're going to listen to the key car code. So we can just grab that, double click it, press Control C, Control V, paste it right there. And we're going to say if the key car code, the key char code, equals 97. Now 97 is, let's just make ourselves a little note here. Let's say 97 is the key code for the A key on the keyboard. So now that we know that, we can use it. So if the key car code equals 97 when they press the keys, any key, we will make the ship do something now. So we'll say the ship.x plus equals and we'll say minus ship speed. We'll use our ship speed variable. Remember, that was 15. And what this will do is make the ship move to the left. This little bit of mathematics here will make the ship move to the left when they press the A key. And let's go ahead and test it out now. So if we press Control or F12, make sure, and we'll check for errors too, because I might have error in my code. And it looks like it bobs into place like it should, and there it is. I'm tapping the A key. Let's see if I refresh. And yep, I can just hold it down. I don't have to tap it. So I hold the A key down and ship flies to the side. That's what we wanted. And it's not respecting our bounds, so we're gonna have to set up another conditional inside of this one. So we'll say if the keycard code is 97, we'll have it move, but not if it's too far to the left. So we're going to use another conditional here, if let's move this down. Now we have another conditional set up, or an if statement set up. We'll put a condition in. We'll say if the ship.x, the ship's x position is greater than our left bounds. Remember, we set our left bounds variable up top. We gave it a number. If the ship's x position is greater than the left bounds, then we'll move it to the left. If not, we don't want it moving to the left, or else it'll fly off the screen. Let's move these in a little. Okay, so now we have an if statement inside of an if statement that's laying out the logic we need. So let's press F12, and you'll see that now when I move my ship, if I hold down A, it hit a boundary. It doesn't fly off a screen, and that's exactly what we want. Now let's program in the D button to make it move the other way, and it's pretty easy to do this. Once we have this set up already, we can just say grab this both of these if statements here, highlight them, their opening and closing tags, and press Control C, and then you just go down a couple of lines and paste it in again. Now you change this to say if keychar code equals 100, because 100 is we'll just say 100 here is the keychar code for the D key on the keyboard. And so we have to change this as well to go the opposite direction. So we'll say if ship.x is less than right bounds, change this to right bounds, which those variables are right up here. Remember, we created them. So if the ship's x position is less than 460, then it can move to the right. If not, we won't let it move to the right, and we have to change this to a plus sign to make it move right. And I think that's it. If I was to press to render out by pressing, or export the file, or publish the file by pressing F12. Now minimize that. Let's refresh. Now the ship flies in, lands in place, and if I hold the A key, it moves all the way to the boundary to the left. If I hold the D key, it moves to the boundary on the right. You can see it flies off of the stage, and it loses part of its wing there. So we got to adjust the value of the boundary. So let's go into Flash, into the Actions panel again, hit F9, open that Actions panel, get to the code. Let's change this 460 to 440 or something like that, and then render out, and you'll see that it should adjust to where it won't fly off the screen now. See? Now it has a better boundary, so it's staying within a certain place. Now all we have to do is make it shoot when we press the space key or the space bar. And that'll show you video game programming basics and capturing keyboard input. 2 tutorials in one. Can't beat that, huh? Okay, so that's fireworks. Let's move that here. Now, last thing to do is program in the laser shot. So we can we're still inside of this function, the report key down function. Move down a couple more lines, and then, oops, let's open that back up. Move down a couple more lines, and now we're going to type in another conditional. So let's just take this conditional here, press Control C, go down, paste it in. Now we're gonna, let's remove this inner conditional, we don't need it. Now if key car code, I know I keep saying key car code, but that's how you pronounce that character for short. If the key car code equals 32, and right here, a little note for ourselves, 32 is the key code for the space bar on the user's keyboard. And now we'll put in the code that we need. We'll take the variable, we'll make a variable, a new movie clip rather. We'll call it laser shot colon movie clip, and clip equals new movie clip semicolon. Now we have a variable name for our new movie clip. And the reason why we create a new movie clip here is because we're going to drag it out of the library, or not drag it, but we're going to reference it from the library, add it to the stage inside of this movie clip, that little laser shot we made in the beginning. And now next line is press enter. Now we type in laser shot dot add child, and this puts it into the movie clip, our laser blaster, which is the reference name for our little movie clip in the library. Okay, so now we have added the laser blaster to the laser shot movie clip that we just created there, and now we'll add child to stage to actually show it on stage. Add laser shot, the movie clip containing the movie clip in our library. So basically we create a new movie clip, we take the movie clip from our library, place it in it, and then we add the new movie clip to stage. And now we're going to position it correctly. So laser shot dot x, we got to put it at the right x position, equals the ships dot x. So we put the ship dot x. We want it to come out of the nose of the ship. We might have to do some mathematical adjustments to make that happen. And we're going to use another tween here. We're going to create another tween. So we type var my tween, and this tween is for the laser actually shooting up the screen at your space invaders or whatever little creatures you want to make in your game. This is new tween, open parenthesis, and this is for laser shot movie clip on stage. This will be on the y-axis, comma. Now this will be a none because we don't want it to be elastic, and we'll have it ease in, and the laser Y position is going to be the starting point, and the ending point will be -50, so it'll fly up and off the screen, and a duration of 1, so it doesn't go too fast. You change that number 1 to a different number, you'll see or if you change that, make that number higher, you'll see the laser shot go slower. You play with that number to change the speed of the laser shot. I think that's it. I think that's it. So now if we shoot, press the space bar, this thing should shoot. If I press F12, there it is in Internet Explorer. Now I'm going back and forth with my A and D keys. And if I press space, there's a laser shot. And you can see the mathematics are way off. So we have to manipulate that to where the laser comes out the nose. Let's do that. Let's make the laser come out of the nose of the ship by changing a few of these numbers. The laser shot .x position is going to be, let's add plus 20 to that and see what happens. Let's render out. Now let's shoot it. Okay, we're getting closer to the middle. Let's make that plus 50. Render out. F12. Press space. Boo, oh, I almost got the center. Maybe 48. Now we have to change the laser Y position. So we go up here, laser Y position minus probably about 100. Now let's render out. Now let's shoot. Oh, I'm getting close. It's almost coming out of the nose, and you can see wherever I move my ship, it stays with the ship, the laser shot. And all you got to do is detect collision for any little space invaders you got coming down here, and you got yourself a nice little game. Nah, it's really buggy. You would have to do a lot more programming, but let's get that laser shot right so I can make it look good here. So minus 120, and this will be 46. Let's see how this looks now. But that's pretty much it. That's the end of my example here, and that shows you, there it is. Now you can see the laser shot coming out, and we got to make it come a little bit higher. So let's make this 150. Now it should be right about coming out of the nose, that laser shot. There it is. Pew 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 pew. Dum 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 dum. Pew boom pew 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 pew. Die scum, die alien scum. Pew pew. But yeah, that's how it works. Capturing keyboard input. It's a fun thing to use on your Flash applications because you can. Just because you can. Okay, we'll see you guys next lesson. I'll have these source files available for download like always. And